What's up, guys? Chris, here to give some brief post-fight thoughts on Mosley Pacquiao. It's funny, I didn't have a lot to say about this fight before with my prediction. Pretty much taking the same stance here, get what you pay for, buyer beware. You got to give Showtime credit for building this up into a fight that people actually started to anticipate a lot more than when it was initially scheduled. Myself, not so much. And it went to show why, Shane Mosley, sure, he came in great shape. Sure, he was saying the right things, but if you saw his last two performances, from round 3 on against Floyd Mayweather, and of course his dreadful fight against Sergio Mora, you had to know that this was coming. As I said on my prediction vid, fighters do not usually get better with age. Outside of Manuel Marquez, Glenn Johnson, and Bernard Hopkins, what guys, in their late 30s or 40s fighting currently are looking better than they did previously, Shane? No. Roy Jones? No. Vander Holyfield? No. James Toney? No. I think people just, sometimes they want to rely on a fighter's rep, his greatness, what he's achieved in the past, rather than look at where they currently are and look at the history of the sport and what it tells you about aging fighters. This fight was a perfect example. First couple rounds, it looked like it might be somewhat competitive. Shane was kind of controlling the distance, using his reach, which he had a sizable reach advantage, but more so than anything, I noted in the first couple of rounds, Manny just wasn't really doing a lot. He really wasn't letting his hands go and his combinations go like he normally does. He didn't start out really fast. He was kind of just keeping the fight at a distance. Wasn't really going in and out like he has been. And I was like, what's Manny doing? He's kind of just taking his time. I don't know if he, bought into how a lot of people are saying if Shane was going to do something, he needed to do it early, although Shane disagreed with that assessment. But I just thought, first couple rounds, Manny wasn't really trying a whole lot. And Shane was kind of just hanging back, flicking his jab out there, but not doing a whole lot either. Of course, round 3, Manny finally starts to get in there and start putting in work and knocks Shane down with a big left hand. Shane looked legitimately hurt. Shane's only really been hurt a couple other times in his career. He looked legit hurt on this knockdown. The way he was laid out, I thought Manny was going to finish him off. I'm like, oh, he's hurt, man. Being an older fighter, it's not as easy to recover. But you got to give Shane credit for this if nothing else. He did get up. He did survive the round, though I don't think Manny jumped on him with the ferocity that he has in the past against guys like Miguel Cotto or Margarito, other fighters, Eric Morales, Pereira. I don't think he jumped on him as quickly. And from 4th round on, this fight was pretty much, in a way, at least from Shane's performance, a carbon copy of his fight against Floyd Mayweather, where he just did little to nothing. And, I kind of said in my prediction for this fight that Shane looks like a guy that can't pull the trigger anymore, and that proved to be the case here. Whether it's physically or more of a mental block at this time or a combination of both, hard to say. He looked great in the training for this fight, watching the Fight Camp 360, but when you get in there in the ring, it's a whole nother animal to deal with. Was a boring fight for the most part, in my opinion. Seems like a lot of fans online, from where I saw in feedback and heard, as well as even in the arena where a lot of people were booing. Surprisingly, which you rarely see. I know there were some boos during the Claudio Pacquiao fight, but there were more boos here, I think, or they were more prominent. And I think more so it was on Shane. Shane just really wasn't looking to fight. He was looking to survive after the 3rd round. He just wasn't really putting on any kind of an effort at all. Manny was trying his best. For the most part, wasn't the aggressive Manny that we normally see, but he said afterwards in a post-fight interview that his legs were bothering him, and maybe that's why he wasn't able to track down Shane as much as he's been able to track down recent opponents like Cotto or Margarito. Not that Shane was willing to engage like those fighters were as well. Shane more so fought like Joshua Clottey did, although he didn't languish on the ropes as much as Clottey, because if he did, he probably would have got to taken to him even worse. But, yeah, man, just a disappointing fight and a disappointing performance by Shane Mosley. Not Manny's best performance, but I'm not going to come down on him for it. It takes 2 to tango, so to speak. And Shane wasn't looking to engage at all, so Manny made the best of what he could for the most part. And it wasn't his best night, but he won clearly, convincingly, Sure, he got discredited for getting knocked down in 1 round, but it was obvious that wasn't a knockdown whatsoever. So, yeah, not the best fight. Not the best night of fights, although the co-main event between Jorge Arce and Wilfredo Vasquez Jr. was pretty damn entertaining. Arce gets a 12th round stoppage. That fight definitely made the night or made the event. Thankfully that was on there. Our fans would have really gone home disappointed. But yeah, what's next for Manny? Possibly Juan Manuel Marquez. That's the name being floated out there. We saw Manny come in to wait for this fight at 145, so who knows? Maybe that fight can happen at 140. I'd still like to see that third matchup between the two. Mayweather fight, I'll believe it when I see it. I never even really talk about it because I don't think it's ever going to happen. As for Shane Mosley, retire. I don't want to see Shane fight again. I don't think he has anything left. I don't know if this fight was necessarily just for a payday or not. He put in the training work for it, but didn't put up the effort that I think is expected of a fighter when fans are paying that much money to watch a fight. I'm sorry, but that's just the way I see it. I'm not a fighter, but disappointing that all these fans shut out all this money and Shane wasn't really in there to give them their money's worth, or even close to it, or even his best. And if that is his best, then he definitely needs to retire if that's all he's got left. But yeah, Shane needs to retire. I don't want to see him fight again. I don't want to see him fight Andre Berto or anybody else out there. Hopefully he will, but I doubt it because it's boxing and boxers rarely retire when they should. Anyways, that's it for now. I'll be talking about this fight and more on the Science Fights Radio Show coming up shortly. If you want to give any thoughts on the show, you can call in. Number's 347-637-3025. But if you can't catch it live, you can always catch the show on podcast or on demand. Put a link to the show in the information part of the video as usual, as well as a link to my Twitter. Want to hear your guys' thoughts on the event? What do you think about the Arce Vasquez fight? What do you think about Kelly Pavlik? His performance, you think he has a chance to resurrect his career? And of course, what do you think about the main event? Do you, as I think, Shane should retire? What would you like to see next for Pacquiao? Were you disappointed in the fight? And if you weren't, why weren't you? But yeah, that's it for now. Till next time, guys.